Everybody. It is Wednesday, September 8th, and we are live to do our world famous, semi world famous Chancla Show. So it's one of our most interesting shows of the year. It's usually a little bit more tongue in cheek than some of our other subjects. So it's going to be more of a fun deal. There won't be probably as much chair throwing as there normally is. So
yeah.
Hello, Christian. How are you?
How are you? Mama Ruth, good to see you. Be careful driving.
Yes.
Hey
Safety
everyone.
first.
Good morning. Good morning. I need my coffee now.
All right. All right. Well, welcome everyone to Coffee Pan Dulce. How are you? I'm Christian Cano, one of your co-hosts, along with Mama Ruth, Jenny-Jaymes Gunn, Barb Bacon, Stephen DeFiore. We want to welcome you to our I guess it's our trademark show. You know, we're kind of known for this show now. It's called the Chancla Show. And I was actually wrong. This is not our third Chancla Show. This is our fourth Chancla Show. So I had to go back. This is just to kind of put things in perspective. This is our 156th show in a row.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have been doing this for 156 weeks, almost 3 years, and you know, to help educate our community and to this is great. So this is our Chancla Show. So I want to welcome and thank you very much. And full disclosure, just to let you know, so that way we could get Mama Ruth to participate in the show because she's got things that she does during the day now. We are actually recording this. And so when you see this, you will see it live in the morning, but we're actually recording it the night before. So I just want to explain why I'm drinking a margarita this early in the morning, because it's actually night. So
right, yeah. So a lot of people, if they notice that especially in Ruth, since she's in a vehicle, it's obviously not 10 o'clock in the morning. You know, because it's maybe if we had an eclipse going or some stormy weather, but so we decided to, so that we could have as many co-hosts as possible on which we only got Mama Ruth, but that's still enough. It's still enough. We got the dream team on.
Well, what's terrible is Barb's probably going to sign in the morning at 10 o'clock. And
even though we've talked about this for like 3 weeks, so we were going to do it at night, but it's okay.
Yeah, I know Barb's got some.
What a lot of people don't realize that watch this show is that we have
always do on Coffee Pan Dulce.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
No, you're fine.
Okay. All right. So as we always do in Coffee Pan Dulce, actually, let's go ahead and introduce yourself so I can start sharing. Well, actually,
you're not going to have to share.
That's right. So we are a little out. All right. Thank you, Jenny, for keeping me in line here. So let's go around the Brady Bunch screen. Introduce yourself and your imaginary button. Go ahead, Jenny. You go first, and then we'll get Mama Ruth there.
Okay, we're a little disjointed tonight, but I'll blame it on the margaritas. But anyway, hi, I'm Jenny-Jaymes Gunn, one of the co-hosts of Coffee Pan Dulce, and the buttons I would be having on right now is one is believe women and protect women, especially their reproductive rights, or anybody, including trans men and trans masculine people that have ovaries and uteruses, is that no matter what you personally believe, people should be able to decide with their own bodies between themselves and their doctor on whether they want to procreate or not. Second, as always, say protect trans kids. And mostly I am with Charlotte Pride and the National Organization for Women Charlotte chapter, and a community advocate for a lot of things, including Medicare and healthcare for all, which in an era of a pandemic, we need more than ever. And just a flaming progressive liberal kook. So take it away, Ruth.
Mama Ruth?
I love it, Jenny. you should have like all in one under the Democratic department, all in one advocate community. You go, girl. Hey everyone, my name is Ruth Perez. Everybody calls me here Mama Ruth. I am a community advocate. I do support the majority of everything that Jenny mentioned. But my invisible button, like always, it's the gun sense reform. I hate to see how we can't even enjoy a beautiful long weekend, Memorial weekend,
Labor Day.
because we have to hear about deaths and shootings and all that. So, and of course, you know, the Medicare for all, equality on our genders, equality on our community. There shouldn't be no racism of any kind. And what else? What else? That's about it. And I love sitting on my boards, and I just miss y'all a lot because now I started working and my schedule has not changed. But I'm glad to be here.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm glad you could join us, Mama Ruth. We've been missing you the last couple of weeks. So I'm Christian County, one of your co-hosts, and my imaginary buttons, if they're on my jacket that I'm not wearing tonight, tomorrow morning, would be healthcare for all, trust women, gun sense legislation as well, and Black Lives Matter. Those are several of the buttons that I support. And almost all progressive buttons. Jenny and I are pretty on top, and Mama Ruth as well. I am wearing, I don't know the official name of this. Mama Ruth, you're gonna have to help me. I am wearing a Mexican shirt. What is the official name of this? It's a Guayabera.
Guayabera.
For the life of me, I cannot pronounce that. So I'm
Guaya, like guaya, like guaya, guaya.
Yes.
Guayabera.
So the G is silent. It's like a Y kind of sound.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm wearing one tonight in celebration of the Chancla Show, and I'm so excited because I got 5 more last week in all different kinds of colors. So I'm just really, really giddy. We have a good friend of ours who's a political consultant who was one of the persons who ran a campaign for Fernando Trevino, who lives in Philadelphia. And I saw him.
Oh my God, I was just gonna mention to him that I saw him yesterday wearing one. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So when I saw him, I was gonna put, well, I got 5 more, you know? So it was like, his was really nice. So I'm sure he paid a pretty penny. Mine were Walmart.com. Go to Walmart.com, put in Mexican shirt.
Of course, his were originally from Puerto Rico, you know?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I remember when I used to go down to San Antonio, you know, you would be able to buy them anywhere. So, all right, so let's go ahead and salute to Coffee and Pan Dulce. Normally I would have coffee. Today I actually have a margarita. So in my Obama.
I changed it because I'm driving, but mine will be horchata. Horchata, thanks to the chancla.
Oh, okay, that's right. And also our producer, sponsor, and supplier, Manolo's Bakery. Manolo's Bakery in Central Avenue. That's kind of a hat-beaten bakery there. Manolo's Bakery in Central Avenue. Please support your Black and brown businesses during this global pandemic or as we recover from it. But Manolo's Bakery, wonderful stuff there. Please on Central Avenue here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, with that said, I don't have 3 topics to talk about, so we'll just go around and just tell us a topic that you want us to talk about, and then we'll get into chanclas. So who wants to go first with a current event?
Well, you know, I don't know if it'd be a current event, but it was something that Governor Abbott of Texas just said today in a press conference, is that somehow magically, like in the movie, Tom Cruise movie Minority Report, he's going to eliminate rape in Texas. He's going to magically, he is announced to the world that he's going to eliminate rape in Texas. And he was trying to, I guess, defend his new abortion bounty law. And so he just pulled, like, with Governor Death DeSantis of Florida, they pull things out of the air. And the Governor Noem of South Dakota, she's the same way. They seem to just make things up on the fly when their brains, what little they have, can't come up with a reasonable answer that a decent human being would have, which Abbott's on the opposite end of the spectrum of that, an absolute abject failure. But it comes on the heels of I think it was yesterday or today, polling data showed that this is the lowest approval rating in the decade or so that he's been governor of Texas. He is at an all-time low, mostly because of COVID deaths, and obviously him not trying to do anything about helping with masks or helping with the vaccine distribution or anything like that. But just to pull that out in a press conference and just say, I'm going to eliminate all rape. And I'm going, well, but it sounds good on paper. Like I do appreciate the fact that you believe you can do that, but why haven't you done it before?
Yeah.
If you have this kind of magical ability and you've been a governor for what, 10 years, 12 years? I mean, he's been governor forever. And all of a sudden you just got like some kind of magic like pill or carpet or something, and so it was very bizarre. So I mean, they're getting more bizarre by the day. It's almost like he's in a duel with the Governor DeSantis to see who can out stupid the other one, and they're doing a pretty good job. That DeSantis is actually 8 points behind the one of the unofficial candidates for the Florida governor race in 2022, a Democrat. And so it looks like those two are very vulnerable by their own doing. So I just thought it was very bizarre, and Democratic pundits and commentators have just been going off, and they've already been making memes plugging Abbott's face into the Minority Report posters, movie posters and stuff like that. Because for people that haven't seen that, it's a movie where Tom Cruise, in the future, they have the ability to foretell crimes before they happen, like murder and assault and things like that. And so it literally lends itself to awesome memes and awesome. I mean, the one good thing about the things that they say is that they lend themselves to being so stupid and cartoonish that it's just the whole party's de-evolved into this silliness and pep rallies and stuff.
Remind me, I have a bit of trivia to tell you about Minority Report. I'll say it in just a second. So, Mama Ruth, what would your current event be today?
To be honest, all I've heard, I have not watched the news, except for, I can't remember right now, but it really bothered me just the shooting over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
That was it. You know, a 14-year-old killing a 16-year-old, that's really sad.
Yeah, I know the NAACP had a press conference today, Minister Mack and some individuals as well. So
and I don't know if y'all heard our mayor. I mean, she kind of spoke out, and the biggest debate that we're having here in Union County, it's about how our Union County is the only county throughout the state where we don't have a mask mandate.
So let's let that be your current event, if you don't mind, so we can comment on that. Okay. Okay. Sure, so that's your current event. All right. Okay. So my current event, Jenny stole mine, but my current event is to add to the craziness of West Afghanistan, aka Texas. The governor is signing today, I believe, a voter bill. He says to bring back the integrity of elections. And he's signing that bill. So that is a current event. And there's already 2 federal lawsuits being filed against it. It's basically a voter, to kind of restrict votes or try to help hamper votes. So those are the 3 things. So Jenny, very quickly, in 30 seconds or less, you were talking about your Abbott. How about the mask thing in Union County? I think they're doing that tonight, their school board, and then also the Governor Abbott's voter bill. Go ahead.
Well, for Union County, it's a little too late. I mean, half the school district or all the school district is shut down practically. I guess it takes kids getting sick and teachers getting sick before they do anything. We didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But the second thing is the Abbott signing the voter restriction law into place. Very similar to what the Soviet Union did for decades. It's funny how they accuse us of being communists and socialists, but yet the things that the Republican Party are doing are very similar to what Putin and the Soviets did for the last 100 years. So it's just ironic and all that. And there was something else funny I was going to say about it, but it's just literally, as the chief executive of Texas, he's over the Secretary of State.
Yep.
So if they had voter irregularities and a lack of integrity, wouldn't have that been his fault? I just going out on a limb, like how many elections has he supervised as the governor of Texas in the last decade? And I think he was an attorney general for the state at one time too.
Yep.
So in his tenure as a lifelong public servant, he's had the ability to correct those issues
Yeah.
without passing a restrictive voting law.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious again, like the whole Minority Report, his rate prediction kit that he must have is how in the world is he not responsible for that, but yet is saying he's bringing integrity? Well, it happened under your watch, Governor.
It's so silly. Mom Ruth, do you want to comment on any of those other two topics real quickly before I comment, and then we'll go to Chancla?
Not really. I mean, I think I spoke out on Friday after I got an email from my son's school saying, you know, he's in quarantine due to a connection or being around someone that was done. And I'm like, you know, I want to make sure as a parent, I want the safety of all the kids.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's why do we have to brag as parents? Why do we have to do so much to make sure and get that attention where the officials from Union County Public Schools should already made the decision a long time ago. That's what we pay them. That's what we pay our taxes here to better serve our community, you know, especially our school system. Yeah. So, I mean, I can't wait to see the turnout on that. I mean, a lot of parents are kind of frustrated.
Yeah, that's happening tonight. I saw that on the news tonight. So I'll comment real quickly, then we'll go to the Chancla. Governor Abbott, on my family Zoom this Sunday, I was talking to my cousins and I said, is it me or has Texas just become crazy? Of course, they were like, yeah, you know, they kind of had to admit this. It is getting, you know, the news over it. And it's just, and of course, one of my cousins, well, you can't believe all the news. No, it's not that I believe it. Did he sign the bill? Yes, no. But to your point, Jenny, the Republicans that are passing these laws in their state, basically what they're saying, and this is what I don't understand. I'm sure people understand this, but we have to explain. Arizona, Florida, Texas, they're passing, Georgia, they're passing these laws for voter integrity, to protect voter integrity. Basically, what they're saying is we've been in charge for the last 10 years and we don't trust ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and this is the whole thing. So Texas has had a Republican governor since George W. Bush beat Ma Richards in 1994. So since 1995 till now, 26 years, Republicans have been in charge.
All Republicans brag about the voting integrity. I mean, we have it here in District 9. Hello.
Yeah.
Right.
He was a Republican.
I mean, it's so obvious. On a lighter note, though, I will say that there has been a lot of memes put out about the horse dewormer sterilizing 85% of men that consume it. Now, whether that's true or not, I've heard different reports that says it's not completely studied. I do think it's ironic that one, they said the vaccine was going to mess with people's sterility, which it doesn't. But that something that they're guzzling all over the South, you know, going to some Tractor Supply company and getting this horse dewormer and going, ooh, I got COVID. Let me get some dewormer and blow up my liver and sterilize myself. Yeah, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, anybody willing to drink dewormer and not take a proven, super safe vaccine, honestly, maybe that lineage needs to stop there anyway. I mean, if it does sterilize 85% of these conservatives,
maybe those are the
I mean, is it that bad of a thing? I mean, maybe you know, I mean, Darwin was on something.
That's right. Maybe those aren't the ones. Well, listen. So to Mama's Ruth's point about the Union County vote, or I think they're voting tonight. I thought it was great. I was watching the news before I got on the treadmill earlier tonight, and one of the moms said the whole reason, the goal of Union County not doing virtual was to put people in classrooms. And so if the goal is to put people in classrooms, they're failing because so many people are in quarantine. And it's like, so, you know, you have to, if your goal is to get people in classrooms and put masks on them so you don't have to quarantine them. It's just like,
Yo, but let me tell you the funny part. Let me tell you the funny part about this craziness, okay?
Okay.
No mask mandate.
Yep.
You are sent to home and quarantine, but you are allowed to go and attend to the football games and to the band or whatever sport you're playing.
Really?
Tell me.
So you have to be quarantined, but you can still go play football.
You can still go play football and you can still attend and, you know, go to the football game if you feel like it.
That's a little crazy. Well, you know, it is. I'm on Ruth. I know I cringe when I say this, but I got to say it is Union County. Texas of North Carolina. So anyway, quickly before we go to Chancla's, a bit of trivia. Has anyone seen the movie Vanilla Sky? Tom Cruise.
Actually, Union County needs to hear our show about the chancla. We need to bump them in their head with the chancla.
Exactly. So there was a movie about in the 90s, or maybe it was 2004, 2005. It was called Vanilla Sky. It was a Tom Cruise movie. It was Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz, I believe. And it was a remake of a Spanish movie. And it's a gorgeous, beautiful movie. It's called Vanilla Sky. Well, in the opening scene of Vanilla Sky, Tom Cruise is he's a young publisher. He inherited all the money from his dad. He's walking through his apartment. They're having a big birthday party for him. And one of the guys at the party was Steven Spielberg. And Steven Spielberg pats him on the back and says, "Hey, happy birthday. It's good to see you." Turns out the reason Steven Spielberg made an appearance, a cameo, was because he wanted Tom Cruise to make the movie Minority Report. Minority Report was a Steven Spielberg movie. And so I guess the trade-off was, I'll be in your movie if you will do this Minority Report. So every time I see Minority Report, which is a great movie, by the way, you have to watch Vanilla Sky because it was like a trade-off that Tom Cruise did. So with that said, let's jump to our topic, the Chancla Show. If you have never watched this show before, this is a topic that is very lighthearted for us. Every Latinx family or Latino, Hispanic, whatever term you want to use, Chicano, Tejana, whatever, knows the chancla story. But not everyone has ever used the chancla, but we all know of chancla stories. It's kind of hard to kind of explain that. So on all the shows, we always play these funny videos. So I'm going to play this video of there's a guy. He's an influencer. He's he does this thing on I think it's TikTok or anyway. He's a social media influencer, and he's talking to his mom about chanclas. Now, so not everyone has been disciplined with chancla. Like I've never been disciplined. It was just the fear of the chancla. So to kind of explain what the chancla is, I'm going to play this video. And Jenny, you tell me on your end if I'm doing this right. So give me 1 second. Let's go. Let's see. Let's see if we're doing this. If I can share, we're going to share screen. That one there. Is that working for? Can you see that, Jen?
It's still trying to come up.
Oh,
there it is. It is up.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah, it's coming up.
If you've been on the Latino internet in the last 5 years, you know, whenever we talk about Latina moms, we talk about La Chancla. But honestly, if I think about it, my mom never really hit me as a child.
Never.
Why?
A mí sí me pegaron con la chancla. Tum, tum. Mis chanclazos buenos que me daban. Pero yo nunca creí en la chancla. Yo en mi casa nunca quise que hubiera violencia. Entonces, mi táctica siempre ha sido el diálogo para orientar a los hijos por un buen camino. Cuando yo era niña, estábamos en el patio de la casa y mi tía estaba llamándole a mi prima y mi prima no le hacía caso y mi tía ya estaba muy molesta. Entonces él vino a llevársela, pero vino con la chancla. Te estoy hablando. ¿Por qué no me haces caso? ¡Oh! ¡Wow! Lo funny de todo fue que ella ni siquiera le estaba pegando a su hija. Se equivocó y en vez de agarrar a su hija, agarró a mi hermanita chiquita, a tu tía Raquel, nada más. ¡Ah! ¿Qué está haciendo? Entonces yo dije, yo nunca le voy a pegar a mis hijos con la chancla y menos así la vas. De hecho, la única vez que yo recuerdo haberle dado un manotazo a un hijo fue precisamente a ti.
Really?
Un sábado por la mañana yo desperté y estaban todas las sábanas que había lavado tiradas en las escaleras de la casa. ¿Qué demonios están haciendo con esas sábanas limpias? Y entonces recuerdo que te di así un moquete. Estaba tan sorprendido Emanuel de que la mamá le pusiera una mano encima. Dijiste, ¡ah! Soy yo, soy Emi. Ay, no, yo sé que eres Emi, Emanuel. Ahí está el moquete. ¿No crees que me equivoqué? No estoy confundida. Y es la única vez. ¿No te recuerdas?
I don't
Ay,
remember this.
gracias a Dios.
That's kind of funny though. The one time she hit me, I don't remember. As a content creator, I feel like we end up going to the same ideas because we know that they work. When we talk about Latino moms, everybody keeps saying
La chancla.
but I still want to make this more nuanced. I want to make this a better conversation. Like, not everybody hits with the chancla. Not everybody has like a personal connection with the chancla. I certainly don't have one. Just let us know in the comments below if you were hit by the chancla, if you will be hitting your kids with the chancla, if you think la chancla is part of our cultural heritage, or if it's something barbaric that could, you know, be phased out. Just tell us your chancla stories in the comments below, and we'll see what comes out of there. We're always reading the comments, so let us know.
La chancla.
So I thought that was really interesting because, you know, we've been playing all these funny videos in our last Chancla shows about, you know, the myth and of the chancla. So, and I don't know, you know, Jenny, you're our honorary Latina, Tejana. You're more Tejana, and, you know, grew up in Texas and so forth, and live in San Antonio. What do you think? I mean, is the chancla a barbaric thing? What do you think about that?
Well, you know, I think the Latinx community, just like every other community, our ideas of parenting are going to be very similar. You know, I think it's, you know, younger parents, newer generation parents typically don't do corporal punishment like we did, you know, in schools and even at home back in the day, or even when we were growing up. You know, if you got out of line in gym class, you got, they called them licks, you know, you would, or swats, and you would, you know, I had a few coaches and a few teachers that every once in a while we'd be, you know, spraying water in the bathroom. We'd get swats, you know, we'd get those, which is just basically the chancla. And so, you know, as somebody that grew up in San Antonio and in South Texas, you know, I think, you know, it's like every other family. I never used corporal punishment with any of my kids, my 3 kids that I raised. And I think the majority of families don't anymore. It's something that's more urban legend now. It's funny. It's a cultural thing. Many young Latinx writers and bloggers and stuff like that, you know, I think they talk about it in almost kind of like the same way, you know, growing up is, you know, my family would call it a switch or the belt, or, you know, every family, every culture
I think
that.
Stephen, one of our Chancla shows, told us his family was the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
In the kitchen.
And so I think every culture, whether it's an Italian culture or Latinx or German or whatever, you know, they use these inanimate objects to crack you over the hand if you're reaching for a hot pot, or if they really were bad because you broke something and you got you know, cranked on the butt a few times or whatever. And that was something I think that probably is thinned out a lot since we were kids, you know, because we're Gen Xers, and you don't see that with the millennials and the baby Z's. You don't see that type of parenting that many books have been written. So now it's more, because we're not really laughing about child abuse. We're laughing more about the humor, and we've watched some of these videos where it's shown, some Latina mom, tossing the chancla like a boomerang almost, and some of them are pretty funny. In fact, they're all pretty funny. That one was hilarious.
Yeah,
actually. They're pretty good actors.
We've actually had this one video on, and I thought I would play this one once again. And let's see if this one works out here. Here we go.
Why are Hispanic children so well behaved? The secret is Hispanic culture, which emphasizes boundaries, developmental growth, and a traditional technique known as La Chancla. For centuries, the secret of La Chancla has helped millions of Latina moms focus attention to each child's unique needs. Instill values of fairness and fair play. Encourage healthy eating habits. Learn the discipline required to excel in academics. Moral reasoning. La Chancla can help every parent master a truly hands-off parenting style.
So that was one of the ones we played in a previous show. We played some of that's kind of what the one you're talking about. That I agree. So there's this humor, I think, with a lot of our families in Latinx community. The chancla, very few of us have ever been spanked with the chancla, but it's just the humor of the threat of a chancla. Eddie Murphy did a bit, I think it was in the 80s. He talks about his mom and I think his dad and the shoe, and there's just humor. I want to play this one. It's a very quick video, but I want to play this one real quickly. And it's not unique to the Latinx community. Our African-American and Black brothers and sisters have their own stories about shoes and chancla. And this one comedian
But our American community doesn't use the chancla. We
Yeah.
all know that. They use the little potty chair timeout thing against the corner.
The which community? Which one?
I don't want to sound
Racist.
but non-Latinos don't use that.
That's why they got ratty kids. So here's an influencer who posted this in the last year, and I think the chancla humor is starting to spread out. Let's see if we can play this one here. Let's see.
Hey, little nigga, I need to talk to you.
That one's not coming up. Oh, there it is.
After working, or you just plain stupid. But I told you about acting a fool up at that school.
Mom, I did nothing.
Go ahead, tell a lie. I'm your teacher. Okay, she tell me everything. I don't like the bitch, but she tell me everything about you and your endeavors at that school.
That wasn't even that serious.
You told the teacher that she was a fat, carnivorous whore in 3 different languages. And I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are learning this from, but you definitely ain't learning it from me.
You know, you're right.
You got me up in that thinking I'm such a bad parent. Well, I might as well become one. I'm gonna boot you up so bad you can go to school tomorrow morning looking like Barney. How the hell you know how to speak 3 different languages? I can't even get you to clean your own damn room up.
Mom, I'm sorry. You know, I shouldn't have. I'm gonna go straight to my room. I'm grounded.
It takes only 3 seconds to get from there to your room, and I better not slip and fall trying to catch you, because if I don't slip and fall trying to catch you, you're going to wish that I slipped and fall trying to catch you. Come on, let me see your feet move. I'm about to Usain Bolt your ass. You hit my belt, but I got a chancla this time.
That's too funny. What? And I think it, oh.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think,
Guys, you know that the chancla.
What was that, Mama Ruth?
Y'all know that the chancla has so many different meanings. It doesn't really have to be a sandal to be thrown at you. So let's specify. When I say don't let me get the chancla, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna grab a chancla. I can grab whatever is right in front of me and smack it on their head.
Well, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, Jenny? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think culturally speaking, I think every family back in the day probably, and you get frustrated with your kids. I mean, you wanna, and that's probably why I never did use corporal punishment with my kids, is because I never wanted to react out of anger. But there's a few times where they push your patience, or they break something, or you got a headache and they're at volume level 10, they should be down at about a 2, or they haven't turned out their homework assignments for a week or whatever. As parents, it could be exhausting. Kids could be they're both could be a blessing and a curse. I mean, it's
so
but it is pretty funny.
I know we've talked about this quite often on the show with the Chancla, and you see Chancla Bernie. He's changed his name today from St. Bernie to Chancla Bernie. So Mama Ruth, I know on our second Chancla show, you had a whole bunch of Chanclas. You had them all on your, how many, do you know how many Chanclas you have now?
I have about 20 pairs, to be honest. Look, I got, let me turn on my camera. Check this out. I got this one. This is the jelly rubber one. This one is a snacky one. That's a good one. This is one of my best weapons.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Now, when I feel like being fashion,
I
throw my little bling bling.
Yeah, okay, excellent. All right, that's nice. How about, hey, Jenny, how about you? How many do you, what Chanclas, do you have Chanclas? I guess everybody does.
Yeah, I have my rainbow Chanclas. I have, actually, I was just talking about this today. I was like, I need to go through my tub of Chanclas that I keep near my front door, because I keep moving the same tub of Chanclas. And it's like with everything else, I wear about 10% of the shoes that I actually own. And so many of my shoes are specialty shoes and all that. But I've got enough Chanclas for 4 or 5 families. Like I'm looking at them right now, and it's kind of embarrassing, because it's like, but I bought those. A lot of them I caught on sale at different stores and closeouts, and you hate to just get rid of them because they do fit me, but I don't typically wear them, and so it's crazy.
Did you ever use any Chanclas on your kids when they were younger?
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
I did not.
Did you?
Tempting.
Okay. Yeah.
What did you do? What did you do, Jenny, to discipline?
Actually, with my kids, I always believed in either them doing extra homework or chores. Timeout always works. With my kids, I did not allow
the right thing, Mama Ruth.
I remember Jeff telling us that it's against what was it? Against his will.
Yes.
By grounding or punishing or using any type of force or weapons.
Yeah.
Well, my parents, they believed better whipped than damned. I got my butt cracked many a time. Probably just a little too much. But yeah, and I think that's why I did go the opposite direction. I did not want to be physical with my kids, because I did get disciplined a little too harshly physically. Yeah. And so I definitely, but I grew up with, a different set of values and ideas than what my parents did, and we were different generations, obviously. Yeah. And different, everything. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things. I think it's something that's probably more urban legend than it is a real thing now. There may have been a time where that was more common.
I agree with you. I mean, I do think that, and that's why I think it's become humorous. And you see so many, social media postings about the humor of the Chancla and the mystery of the Chancla. It's just funny. Well, so in this household, we have a lot of Chanclas too. Like you, this is the one I wear quite often. It's basically a croc. A croc is a Chancla, and then I have my Keens, which are Chanclas. But I think I told you guys also that I have so many Chanclas, like you do, Jenny and Mama Ruth, that our dogs would, if we left them alone, they get anxiety and they would chew up the Chancla, because they would, our scent was on the Chancla. So we actually have a metal Chancla storage. And this is our Chanclas. This is by the door. and the chanclas, that's the price tag on it. The chanclas actually go in this to keep the dogs from eating the chanclas, because they have ruined several keens of mine, and those are like $100 each. And so it's like, okay, all right. So anywho, so yeah, it is, you know, the chancla story and the chancla myth, or the, you know, the urban legend, so to speak, is pretty humorous, especially with younger Latinx people. Millennials have really kind of taken this, and I thought it was funny. I'm sure there was a time where, you know, just out of frustration, you know, people would throw a chancla or a shoe at someone, but, you know, I never got hit by a shoe. I think I was grounded. So, you know, I think, anyway, so, you know, I don't know, we've run out of topics and we only got about 10 minutes left. Jenny, anybody else have a chancla story or what?
I mean,
I'm almost out of margarita.
Oh, well, that definitely ends the show. Once the booze is gone, the party's over.
That's right.
You know, but especially coming off the holiday weekend like Labor Day, you know, and we're getting close to wrapping up summer. Obviously, summer officially ends in a couple more weeks, and there's a lot of summer ending parties across Charlotte, North Carolina, where we're all broadcasting from. And but you know, I think it's, you know, I think of chanclas and flip flops and Crocs and all, and I think of summer. I think of cookouts and like the famous Eddie Murphy story. You know, it was what the whole chancla story was really part of a larger cookout story where his uncle practically burned down the backyard.
Oh,
and,
you
know,
remember that?
It was oh yeah, no, I used to watch that.
Fire.
Yeah, that's a fire. Just roll him around. He'd be fine. You know, it just the way Eddie Murphy spun that story, you know, and we all have had those uncles, those grandpas, those grilling experts, so to speak, that have just have practically burned down a backyard before. I mean, I've seen it, you know, and beer being spilt everywhere, and just all kinds of craziness with these deals. And then somebody usually gets a little drunk and starts getting super loud, and somebody falls down the stairs like an Eddie Murphy's deal. And there's just craziness and wholesale kookery going around, and it's just super fun.
It sounds like the anti-masker women at the board of school board meetings. So they're
yeah. We don't even get started on that. Like it's just I mean, some of this stuff that they're saying at these school boards and getting so aggressive, I'm like, you know, I can imagine if I was, you know, typically a lot of the people in these school boards are parents that were concerned parents, or they had kids at one time, and typically just wanted to help their local school district out. They felt compelled to serve. It's not a real glamorous elected position. It's not like being mayor or something like that. It's not a real high profile up until the mask holes and the vax holes got all crazy about this stuff, and are screaming and threatening, like Madison Cawthorn, you know, telling some of these school boards that, well, you know, if you don't do this, then we'll just break out our guns type thing. And I'm like, you know, these people that run for these school boards, especially in these rural counties, they probably really just going, you know, we're just putting a piece of cloth on kids' faces. It's just part of the dress code, and you know, anything we can do to slow this down so we don't see the optics of kids hooked up to breathing tubes. It's probably a good thing.
Well, I mean, as we said on this show before, I think one of the we could use a lot more chanclas in some people's families. I don't believe
on some adults.
You know, exactly. You know, we talked about some on this show. Maybe someone needs to throw a chancla across the congressional floor to hit MJ. Oh, I don't believe in violence, but you know, maybe just the threat of it.
It's just like, and they're purposely coordinating these verbal assaults and sometimes even physical assaults all around the country, and they got these school boards, you know, all rattled up when they're just making something harder than it needs to be. It's a very, I mean, cloth masks have been used all around the world to slow down airborne pandemics. Medical profession, you know, so many professions have used masks, and obviously vaccines work too. And to me, the whole to make this thing political for political sake, so they have something to run on in 2022, and equating it to the Holocaust and death camps and all this. And I'm just like, guys, it's a piece of cloth.
I mean, and the ones dying are them. So it's like,
Well, there's a couple interesting things.
I'm not laughing because they're dying. I'm laughing because of just the plain stupidness of the fact that they're the ones dying.
So I was reading a Wall Street Journal. I believe it was a Wall Street Journal article today, talking exactly about that. That only about 1 out of 5,000 cases are breakthrough infections with COVID, and the majority of the cases are, like 99% of them are people that are unvaccinated. And this, the majority of them are rural conservative Republicans, and it's if the projections are right, and at the pace that people are passing away right now, we could see up to 1 million to 2 million additional deaths by this time next year, and when we have a vaccine, and the majority of the 99% of those deaths will all be Republican voters. And you got to suppose you can easily make the link that, and the Republicans are secretly scared about this because what has been a tactic has backfired on them. But now they don't know what to do. It's very interesting.
I am, we've talked about that on so many shows recently, and that it's so sad because we're concerned about them, but they're not concerned about themselves. So there comes a point where we start to go, at
some point,
but you know what?
But
the sad part about it is that they're not concerned about themselves, but they're harming the ones that are concerned about ourselves.
And that's what, Mom Ruth, that's what's such a frustration just internally. And I know we've gone completely, we only have about 5 minutes left, but it's such a frustration. As a pro-life person, I'm pro-life. I want to save as many lives as I can, not just babies, but all lives. Okay. And so to care about them and they're dying and they don't care about themselves, it makes me almost angry, because I'm like, why am I caring for you if you don't care about yourself? But then you get angry because you're questioning your own, your own self, and you're like, well, just thinking that is bad.
We got questioned this morning because my boss in our office, our facility, we were asked by our boss to lock the front door and do not allow them to come in without a mask. And that gives us time, because we can be without our mask. If I'm in my office, I'm allowed to be without my mask. But if somebody approaches, I gotta wear my mask.
Sure.
If not, they gotta stay behind my front door. So this man questioned it this morning. He's like, well, we don't live in Mecklenburg County. Why do we have to wear a mask? And then my boss said, he said, who made the rules? They changed the rules. And then my boss said, well, I made the rules. I set it up. And I decide what to do here in my office. I was like, and then he says, if you want, we can walk to Panera Bread and you don't have to wear a mask, and we can talk over there, but not in my office. So he did. He took him to Panera Bread, and they had the meeting over there, because the gentleman didn't want to wear the mask. You know?
And you gotta wonder that some of these adults, these are all typically tend to be older.
These are all elders. You know, the ones that are hard-headed are the elders.
These are typically 40 and up. Their hair is on fire about a flimsy little mask, and you got to wonder at some point in time that, did you when you were growing up, did you fight putting on clothes to go in public? Did you fight seatbelts this hard? Like, have you always done this, or has it just been the mango Mussolini has gotten you so wrapped in fear that every time a doctor or a scientist says, maybe just putting on a mask will just even if it reduces your chance of getting COVID by
Yeah.
50%, let's, they're 90% effective, but let's just say 50%.
Yeah.
I would love to increase my odds by 50%, especially if I'm not vaccinated. Just put the little face condom on or the face diaper and just, why would you want to take your chance? Like, why would you want to pay the death roulette on something that's killed, almost 1 million Americans and has killed millions more?
You know what the funny part is?
Yeah.
That if COVID would not be existing right now, people would actually, if they would end up in the hospital, going to the hospital, and if a doctor doesn't wear the gloves and his mask, they would question them. Why isn't he wearing a mask or his gloves?
I think we've talked about it so many times on this show. This is last 17 months. It's almost everything we talk about. There's just this belief that COVID is only impacts certain people. It won't impact me. And as every family knows, it doesn't care who you are. It is an invisible enemy that it will kill anybody. Listen, we've run out of time. We've got about 3 minutes left, and so I'm sorry. We normally don't get political on the Chancla Show, but we ran out of Chancla stories, so I had to pivot to something I knew
That is part of the Chancla theme. Because imagine if COVID would have existed when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I didn't have no choice but to obey and do what my mama would tell me. If not, anything will fly on top of my head.
That interesting you say that, Mama Ruth. And I know we've run out of time. We only got a couple of minutes, but that is it seems like I heard someone, I didn't know where I saw this, but I heard someone saying that there was a generation like our grandparents, people who were around before polio, when polio vaccines came around. And so they actually knew the devastation of what polio could do to you.
Not even that. Chicken pox. Chicken pox.
Yes, chicken
I
pox.
remember that my grandma would not allow me to get near my cousins if they had the chicken pox. I had to be away.
Exactly.
Another thing was, let me walk out here to my kids. Another thing was that if one of us had will end up with the flu or the cold. The cold is very contagious. My grandma would make us put our name in our cup and to separate my plate, my fork, my spoon, and my cup away from everybody else. Because I had the virus and they could not get sick, or the opposite. They had the virus and they had to protect each other. And there was no big deal about it. When I gave birth, through my kids, my mother would always take care of me. And I have a lot of friends that would come over and they wanted to come and see the baby and stuff. My mama will make them wash their hands, sanitize, and do not get near the baby or breathe near to it because you had germs even though you were cleaned up. Nobody made a big deal about it.
Now it's a different world. Jenny, you want to say something before we start to close out?
Yeah, a couple things. One, I am glad we're in a world where some people at least have common sense, and I'm glad that people don't physically beat their kids anymore. But the other thing too is I really hope that before there is great loss of life, that people do realize that these hoaxes and these conspiracy theories are only hurting you, but they're hurting your loved ones. They can endanger other people's kids. Because when you think about the kids that are 11 and under that can't take a vaccine yet, and they by spreading it, you're killing kids. You're literally, there's been there in Texas, I believe I think 58 kids have died this summer. The number is very high. It's Delta is just as dangerous to kids.
We need to make a show about the Delta and the Rex variants. We definitely need a show of that, please.
Well, that was Barbara's show, but we need to do another one. And
the studies have shown, unlike the original variants and the original COVID-19, the main strands that were last year that were dominant, that it is killing very young people, young adults. You're seeing 19-year-olds and 25-year-olds and 30-year-olds and people in really good shape. It's not just 85-year-olds on their deathbeds. Anyway, this is highly more contagious, and because it's more contagious, it's rifling through younger communities that are more active, and it makes sense, and so
it's allowing the virus to mutate. So now we have another strand that
and it keeps on growing. My grandson my grandson ended up with a severe cold last week. And it was an ear infection. They did his COVID testing. He's 6 years old. He was negative, thank God. But we decided not to send him to school because even though it wasn't COVID, it was still contagious.
Yeah, still contagious.
Still a virus.
Listen, yeah, this is so I think we can all agree that we need probably more chanclas in some of these households. So
just on the adults.
Maybe the kids need to start using the chanclas on their parents, or some of these parents that are like,
well, one way or the other, the good thing, about what Darwin said, I mean, nature will thin them out one way or the other. I mean, I hate to say it, but either whether it's horse dewormer or death, it is going to thin the herd. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but truthfully, as far as I know, all my loved ones, people that are close to me, and in my family, they're all vaccinated. In my social circles, they're all vaccinated. And there is a value into getting the shot, and saving lives. So
well, yeah, I agree with you. So let's go ahead, because we have run out of time on our Chancla Show. We could talk forever, us.
Right. So it could be an all-night show.
Yeah, we do want to end the show, and I want to thank you so much for joining us on Coffee Pan Dulce, the Chancla Show. It's actually Chancla number 4 show. I want to remind you, we have 3 more shows in September. Next Wednesday, we have on the 15th is Religion Dumbing Down America. On the 22nd, we're going to compare COVID-19 from 20 to 2021. Have we done better? And then we should have Dr. Bumfield back, or Dr. B back on that show. And then on the last show of the month is a interesting show, is Medicare Advantage a scam? Everyone's starting to sign up for open enrollment and Obamacare and Medicare. So we want to kind of educate people again, the difference between Medicare Advantage and regular Medicare. There's a very big difference, and we'll talk about that. But Mama Ruth, it's been so great to see you. We've missed you so much. I hope everything is going well, and congratulations on your new job. And also next week, we may have a special cake. Jenny's birthday is coming up next week, so we'll have to do a little shout out for Jenny. I know she and I have got some plans on her birthday. We're gonna, I don't know, maybe we just do a mani-pedi again, or I don't know. We gotta do some things.
Y'all have the best time, Jenny.
Yes.
Best time, okay? Enjoy.
We will.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on Coffee Pan Dulce. Stay online. Mom Ruth, you got to get off. I understand, but we got to do a promo. So thank you so much. We're going to disconnect from Coffee Pan Dulce. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.